Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an awesome life. I have a question for you. Are you a spiritual pillar? All right, so you may have heard of Dolores Cannon and the 3 waves of volunteers. There have been groups of people who have basically made a decision from some other realm, wherever they were at the time, to come down here and help this planet to evolve. And Dolores introduced what were called the 3 waves of volunteers. She's an amazing woman. And we're not going to go into that right now. That's for another video. But today I want to talk about the pillars, the spiritual pillars, that's what I call them, that come into every family. And that's part of the movement of souls, energies that came here to raise the frequency of this planet. All right, what is a spiritual pillar? I'm a spiritual pillar, and you can probably recognize other spiritual pillars. That is, let's just say, I don't like to say more evolved, but let's say more advanced spiritual beings within a family. If we didn't have a spiritual pillar in every family group, which is a soul group, people that agreed to come down, then you would probably have great destruction within those groups. Why? Well, because it takes a teacher in a classroom to lead the way, right? It takes a prophet, or it takes a more advanced person, or more knowledgeable person, or an expert to come in and change a group of energies or people to advance them. If everybody was on the same level, we'd all remain there. So we're all here at different stages of advancement within our spiritual involvement. These spiritual pillars are those who come into family groups who are more evolved, and here's what I want you to understand, probably most of the time have agreed to take on great pain. So many of you wondering, why am I in this situation of, abuse, and they just don't understand what happened that they would be put in this position. And a lot of those people are the more meek, seemingly kinder, or more spiritually advanced people. It's like, why them? Because they volunteered to come here to become a spiritual pillar. Much like the 3 waves of volunteers of Dolores. But what I'm talking about is within family groups. Have you ever noticed that one person in the group that stands out, that's different, that seems a little bit more just elevated, right? They agreed to come into a family to show the way, to help the others find their spiritual ways, find their spiritual path. Maybe they forgave, and the spiritual pillars have to go through their own involvement. They have agreed to take on these big tasks so that they could be the demonstration, because they are usually the stronger personalities or the stronger soul, the spiritually advanced person that can handle these things. It doesn't mean they're going to go through with it and be successful. It may take them a few tries, but you have an opportunity, if you are a spiritual pillar, to do some amazing things for your own spiritual advancement, in addition to being that pillar for your family. Are you a spiritual pillar? Did you take on a lot? Yeah, ow, it doesn't feel good, does it? And then you think, why me? I seem to be the only nice one in the family. You're probably a spiritual pillar. You are a nice person, and it doesn't seem fair, but these are lost energies and souls that want to advance. So you agreed to come in with them so that they could find their way to evolve higher. And they need that teacher within the group. They need that advanced soul within that soul group to get them there, to pull them, to elevate them, which means you have to go through with your forgiveness, your kindness, your understanding of that they are learning. You wouldn't teach a kid who wasn't as, receptive in a class. You wouldn't punish them, would you? If you had, there's always that kid in the class that doesn't, learn as quickly. You don't punish the child. You step up to the plate and you help them more. That's what your family soul group is. Some of these people are really dense. They're in a dense place. They haven't pulled out of it yet. And so the spiritual pillars come into each of these families to help advance them, just like the 3 waves of volunteers came on the planet to pull this planet out of density. It needed an extra boost. So people that didn't even have to come down here came down to change the frequency of the planet and be the teachers and the guides and the peaceful people to get it out of the density. And it's working. Can you feel it? It's working. So many horrible things that were in our destiny did not happen. Why? We can change anything. You can change your life and your destiny too. You can change anything. Are you a spiritual pillar? And if you're not, do you know who in your family is? Is it the one who is the stronger sibling that you went to, that you could trust, that was going to help you? Is there a friend that you know that is probably a spiritual pillar within a soul group, and you may be part of that? It can be a friendship group too. There's a pillar, somebody who steps in and stands up for you and helps pull you out, and you don't have to take that help. If you want to stay in your dense place, if you're not a spiritual pillar and there's a spiritual pillar that stepped up for you, you can also refuse it, continue to stay on your destructive path, and you will most likely lose contact with that spiritual pillar. So what's happening now is these pillars are starting to pull away. You either step up to the plate and do your part, evolve, go to that higher frequency, make better choices, better thoughts, better actions, drop the judgment, stop the third dimensional behavior. If you do not change this, that pillar will advance without you. That pillar will leave you behind because it is all a choice. Do you have a friend that has stepped up for you that you know is more spiritually advanced and you're still not acting like you know you should? You'll lose them. They won't want to hang around with you anymore. They're allowing you that choice. Same thing with a family. Do you have a mom or dad? It's not going to happen. It's okay. Let them go. You were there for them. You're there for them now. But the spiritual pillars are going to advance and pull away. All right? That's what's going to start happening as we evolve into the 5th dimension, because we're already transforming into the 4th, if you haven't already felt that. The spiritual pillars are pulling away. All right? So if you have a spiritual pillar in your life, it's time to advance and to join them on where they're resonating, the higher frequency. It's time for you to take that huge step into that advanced evolution of your soul. It's time. We don't have any more time on this planet. It's splitting. So if you are a spiritual pillar, just know that you're not here to save everybody. You're here to show the way, and that they get to choose and continue to do your job. You must follow through with this. If you volunteer to come down here to be a spiritual pillar of a soul group, then follow through with it. If you took on a lot, go ahead and forgive and pull away and know that these are all students too. They're just not as advanced as you are. So show the way. Just like the volunteers are, show the way for your soul group. Be the pillar, follow through with your mission, and then know that it's up to them, and be okay with letting that go too. If they don't change, we must be okay with that, because that's a judgment if we're not. It's a judgment that they should be the way you think they should. And they're just here as students learning. So you must evolve if you want to complete your mission and also show others how it can be done. You're the stronger one. You're the more evolved one. So do your job. What's the alternative, right? It's not a good one. It's not a happy one, that's for sure. So, are you a spiritual pillar? If you have questions, put them in the comments and let's share this. This is a subject that I have talked about for many years. I feel that there's always that one person in a family that just doesn't fit in, that seems more advanced, and I think everybody knows who they are. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Let's start a discussion on this. I think it's a lot of fun. Namaste.